PUBG is or Ghost Recon?
PUBG.
Well, you don't have it. How do you know how good it is?
I've seen it though.
All right, fuck. Do you have it, Kim?
No, I watched Korean people playing it, and they're pretty good, I
I don't
think.
want to watch Korean people play anything.
I'm currently playing Smite.
Dude, playing video games is something you do for relaxation and fun. Like Korean people, like even take a hobby like that and shit it up. You know?
Yeah.
It's like
If you're
no,
a hobbyist gamer, you play about 13 hours if you're a hobbyist.
A week?
13 hours a day, a day.
What?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
I did it for many, many years. There's
I don't know.
a lot of people playing like that in Korea.
What's the end game?
what do you
There's
mean?
too many.
What's the end game of shooting?
In Korea, probably Call of Duty.
No,
Don't
what's
ask
the
dumb
end
questions
game
like
of
that.
shooting here?
Maybe I'd have to use it at some point.
Yeah. I was gonna say fame, fortune, bitches, but
We all know that's not true.
uh, you know, you never know. It may happen eventually.
Eventually, right?
It's like fame and wealth, because we're dripping in both those things, obviously. Welcome to the
Growing
Practical
sport.
Pistol Show. My name's Ben. I'm here to answer shooting questions. On deck today, Mr. Matt Hopkins. Say hello.
Hello?
Mr. Hansi Kim. Hansi, not the K. Hansi.
Hi, everybody.
You have money?
Who does?
That's what he just said.
No, I said hi, everybody.
Oh.
Yeah, he has money. He's a
Okay.
pro shooter, dog. He's rich.
Yeah, I have too much.
We just discussed it. He's giving it all to charity.
Yep.
He's going to adopt a couple African
This-
kids.
Charity
give
is
something to
true.
do.
I have a couple missionary friends, and I'm supporting them financially, so that's good.
See?
That's good.
Told you, man. Rich as hell. All right. Let's talk about your head position when shooting. I get told I'm doing the tactical turtle when shooting. Now I need to keep my head in a more natural position. Thoughts? What's your thoughts on this, Mr. Kim?
Well, if you have some kind of chronicle issue, which I do, some people actually ask me, "Hey, why do you look down when you're right before the buzzer?" That's because I have really bad accidents and I have, not neutral position.
Yeah.
If you have some problems like that, I'll say go to chiropractor and try to fix it. But if you're with a good condition, your bones, spine, your neck is good, then why do you add an extra motion, extra tense? That's not good. If you are tensing up, unnecessary tension, it's probably not going to help. But if that forward neck motion helps you, your center of gravity forward, center of gravity is important when you're shooting because you don't want to be leaned back when the gun is kicking you back. So in terms of center of gravity, it could be important to make it forward, but don't try to tense up unnecessarily. That's my answer. So you can actually move the center of gravity forward with shoulder position.
This guy's talking about head position. Like, should he do
Yeah.
the tactical turtles when you got your head
Don't
down?
do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
But you kind of do it.
Oh, that's because of my messed up neck.
Square the circle. Okay, messed up neck. Hopkins, what do you say?
Interesting question.
Is it?
No, not really. No. Do whatever's comfortable, but if you take the time to lower your head during the draw and stuff, that adds any amount of time to your draw, you need to stop doing it.
You will see a couple top guys that are more hunched over than others. That's true. But I think generally speaking, the easiest way to do this is like, hey, bring the gun up to your fucking face and don't bring your face down to the gun.
Yeah.
Like hold the
That's
gun.
what they're doing when they
where it
do
should
that,
be.
right, though?
Yeah, they're kind of like lowering their head down onto the gun. Like you don't have to do that. You don't have to do all that. It's, you just very naturally just bring it up and point it at the thing you want to point it at. That's fine. It wouldn't be something, I don't bust somebody up about it unless it's like real extreme. But it's just not something that, there's definitely no benefit for crouching your head down. So I feel like, why do that, you know? Why do it? I also don't like
Well,
sort of
so
looking
your
through
shoulders.
I don't like looking through the top of my glasses or anything either.
It's so your shoulders can take the bullets, right?
Yeah,
Not
but
your head.
you control the recoil with your hands, not your shoulders. Or your
No,
shoulders can take the bullets of the guy shooting you.
incoming. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a good idea, I guess. Yeah, that's one way to do it. The other way to do it would be to not get shot as much. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about all that. If I'm gonna get shot, I prefer just be in the face, so it's like over with quickly.
Oh yeah.
That's just me though. All right. Hey Ben, I know you guys already chatted about World Shoot. Yeah, we did. It was a good conversation. But were there any stages that you thought were really fun? And were there any aspects of the match you'd like to see more of? Thanks. Were there any particularly fun stages? I didn't have the pleasure of squatting with you monkeys, so I didn't really kind of get your read on it during the match. But any stages that you kind of liked? You're like, yeah, that was a really fun stage.
The slider stage.
I guess
Oh yeah.
we're a couple
The
weeks
dual
out,
sliders?
or not a couple weeks. We're a few months after that match now, so it's a good time. If you can remember it now, it was probably a pretty interesting stage. So the double slider stage, I believe, stage 25. You're referring to.
Yeah. 25 and 26 were pretty good.
Is 26 the
was
seeded
the-
one?
The seated one where the plates went up and down.
Yes, very
Yeah.
interesting stages.
Those had some risk versus reward opportunity on them.
Yeah, they did. The
They did.
slider stage didn't. Well, there wasn't really much reward to be had on the slider stage. You could take the guys could add in a lot of risk. I don't know what reward they got back. You know what I mean?
The time reward, that was it. It probably wasn't worth it.
Yeah. So for people who weren't at the World Shoot, which I'm guessing is 95% of the people listening to this, the double slide, there's a stage with two targets on a sliding track on the left side of the stage and two targets on a sliding track on the right side of the stage. And there are some other targets around, some other shit to do, but basically you just stepped on a stomp pad and it made them start sliding down the track, and everything happened quickly enough that you could go over and step on the stomp pad, and you wouldn't wait long, maybe a second, and then the thing's sliding right down, it's right there. And you had, what do you think, Hopkins, maybe 2 seconds to shoot?
Yeah, and it got progressively smaller.
Yeah, and the earlier you
The
started
target
on those
availability.
things,
Yeah.
then after they were done sliding down, you got just like I think the technical term is a cunt hair to shoot at. So
Yeah, so that's one of the most ridiculous rules in NIPSC.
yeah, that is pretty tarded.
You just have to see like a sliver of the target, and it's
Yeah,
not
It's-
disappearing.
It's available. Yeah, so
Yeah.
there's like kind of one of those on the left and one on the right, and it was that was a pretty fun, interesting stage. One stage that really sticks out to me, there was a stage that was, I think it was, I don't remember exactly how many rounds it was. Let me think, 10 rounds. Now that I'm thinking about it, you stepped on a stomp pad. You were in this tight little constricted area. It wasn't constricted by shooting area so much as there's walls, and you had to go over the left side, had to go on the right side. Yeah, and you stepped on the stomp pad, and there was, on the left side there was a target, on the right side there was a static target, and then in the center that you could kind of see from both sides there was
Oh, yeah.
2 up-down bobbers and a swinger. And my
Yep.
God, the time people spent like looking at that and planning it, trying to figure out the timing and all this and that, like that ended up being a very interesting stage just to try and figure out the timing. And there wasn't really a good way to do it, but there was a lot of bad ways to do it. You know?
Yeah.
That was, I just remember that one. So I guess a common theme is one thing that they had at the World Shoot, they had a lot of that was interesting for us was all the moving targets.
Yeah, definitely.
And it wasn't stuff that what you see in the US is you see like activator popper, shoot a couple of targets, shoot the swinger when it comes out and dwells. And it's nothing too tricky. The stuff was not straightforward how to do it. It was like, there's a bunch of ways to do it. And none of them are really jumping out at you. It's like, oh, this is the way I want to do it. Any other cool elements there? I like the
My-
one stage with the 2 Cooper tunnels in it. I don't really know why, but I just kind
Oh,
of
that
liked
was
it.
fun.
I didn't like that one.
Well, fuck you.
My favorite was 12-shot course. It was stage 30. So,
Slide door.
yeah, slide door. So you have to open the door, and then you have to activate, and there's one paper, and then like clamshell. It's mirrored basically, and that door, slide door, if you open it too strong, it's gonna come back so it's gonna close it again. But you want to be shooting with both hands. So, and also I think you were not supposed to hold the door with your hands or something like that. So some people opened it too strong, and then the door kicked back, and basically you have to open it again. Or if you are not opening strong enough, it's not going to open all the way up. So it was very fine control of opening the door. It was not a shooting challenge at all, and somehow I thought it was really interesting stage. Only 12 shots, but you have some other manipulations going on over there. And I think the far target over there was like 20 yards, 25 yards, something like that. So I think that was really interesting. Close target, far target, some non-shooting challenge as well. That was my favorite.
All right, Hopkins, any other favorites? Did we get all
I
your
was just
favorites?
thinking back. No, not really.
I thought the U-shaped stage was pretty good, stage 2. There was really many ways
There's
to
a
shoot.
lot of running on that one.
Yeah, a lot of running. But there were a lot of targets in the front, but you can shoot how many rounds from the left, how many rounds from the right. You can kind of decide if you're going to shoot half or a lot more on the left side, a little less on the right side kind of thing.
Yeah, you could put in a leaning thing if you wanted to, lean a little bit for the stuff.
And you can shoot on the move if you wanted to, kind of like that.
I feel you.
And the movement wise, it was interesting because you go forward, backward, sideways, things like that. So
Yeah, a lot of different. I think JJ put up a video of the movements on that stage where he liked that. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Let's go to the next question. This one's going to require some explanation. Hey, Ben, I've been trying to shoot more like a dick, but I find asshole tendencies coming out. Try to suppress those asshole tendencies and then start shooting like a pussy. How could I train to shoot like a dick more reliably without falling onto either side of the spectrum? Let me explain. I think this guy took a class with me, and this is not entirely my terminology. So if this is not anything I consciously do, but like if I see some guy like spraying bullets and missing a lot, I'll be like, "What an asshole! Like, what are you doing? Quit being an asshole! You're shooting shooting like a moron out there. You gotta be in control of every shot you fire." Versus, you see people who are very deliberate. They're so afraid of missing that they don't cut any corners. And I'll say, "Hey man, you're shooting like a pussy." They're hitting everything, but it's not that exciting to watch. They're not going fast. They just hit everything. They're so slow at shooting that their hits become irrelevant. That's shooting like a pussy. So this guy's trying to be right in that middle ground. So it depends. I think the way to get in control of this, and I'll put this out there, you guys see what you think. It depends on where you are on the spectrum. So this should be like the age-old thing between turtles and hosers. There's people basically can fall into two camps. Either they're a turtle or they're a hoser. Me personally, I'm a turtle. So for me, my training is around forcing myself to shoot faster, learning to control it, and then going and applying that on match day. Whereas guys, hosers guys, guys who traditionally hose stuff, they shoot very aggressively and they miss a lot, and their shooting has to be around getting them under control. It depends on where you are on that spectrum. For hosers, a lot of times, the thing to do is if you just take the timer away and be like, "Hey, dude, don't miss. Don't fucking miss. Quit missing." If you just hit everything, your time's going to be okay, and then we'll go from there. That's a good place to start for the hosers. If the guy's a turtle, where you just like start setting gates or it's like, hey, you have to shoot like this. A good example is on the close range stuff, you got to shoot as fast as you can pull the trigger, period. It's like no discussion. When you're coming into position, you're going to start shooting before you feel like your sights are really stabilized. You're going to see what you come up with. That sort of stuff. You start putting in gates to force people to shoot more aggressively, and then you show you keep proving to that person over and over again, like, look, you can cut these corners and everything's cool. You're still hitting this stuff okay. It's still fine. All right? Those are good ways to start solving these problems. What's your thoughts on that, Mr. Kim?
Well, I personally think this is kind of like, hey, do I shoot 100% or 80%, kind of like that? I think it's similar question. And when people say, well, in a match, do you shoot 100%? When I hear that, I always question them back. Do you mean personal ability 100% or humanly possible ability 100%? So I think if this guy is shooting humanly possible 100%, which may not be your personal 100%, then it sounds like he's shooting like a dick, right? So.
This guy's a dick would be the optimal zone. This guy's an asshole. I'm sorry for being unclear.
So the first thing he has to know is the personal ability. So, for example, how many percentage of alphas he can get at certain distance and what number of splits. So what time he can shoot within acceptable accuracy kind of thing. So if he can shoot 0.2 seconds split at 7 yards, he should be able to shoot that in a match. But if, let's say, 0.1 second split, he can't do it. That's not his personal ability. That's like humanly possible ability. I know some people can do like 0.1 second split or 2 alphas, but if he can do it, he should not do it. So basically, it's about knowing his ability and then using that ability in the match. If he's not using his ability not good enough, then it's gonna be shooting whatever term you used. So he has to go find that out.
Your wife will explain it to you.
Oh, okay. I'll ask him. I mean her. I ask her. I don't have dictionary, so.
I don't think the definitions are in there.
You never know. They might be. Look, you might have to wiki that. Shooting like a dick. What is that? And the reason shooting like a dick is optimal is you watch a guy like run through a stage and just hit everything, like smashes the stage. You're like, oh, what a dick. That's why.
Oh, okay.
That's the worst. Yeah. Hopkins, you have thoughts?
I think Kim nailed it pretty good. It's like
He did.
what he can get away with.
Yeah, well, one thing that really helps, it helps people a lot, actually. And I'll say this, and most people just ignore it, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you actually start calculating hit factors out during practice, it's going to change your thinking a lot. There is a big fucking difference between hit factors on your practice runs, but people are cognitively biased in really weird ways that make them not really address those differences in hit factor. For example, we tend to, if we're shooting a practice, if I'm out practicing with Hopkins and he shoots our little practice stage, it's 10 or 12 rounds, he shoots that 6.5 seconds. All right. And then she shoots a Charlie, 6.5 seconds. Bam! Facial. Like, great run. I come up there, I shoot it in 5.9 seconds, but I got 4 Charlies. Okay? Hopkins immediately is going to be like, fuck, how the fuck is he so much faster?
What'd you shoot it in?
5.9. And you did 6.5. 12 shots. Immediately, his thinking, without doing any math, he's going to be like, fuck, he's so much faster than me.
Hit factor's better, though.
What's that?
The hit factor's better, though.
Which one is?
Mine.
I know. That's why I picked those numbers.
Okay.
I didn't need to sit there with a calculator like you did.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I saw you. I saw you. It's okay, though. I
wanted to figure it out. Yeah.
No, but I didn't need a calculator because I calculated in practice. You got to understand that people are biased in certain weird ways where it's like we value time a lot more than points, just in our regular thinking. People tend to get really triggered. I'm guilty of this too. People get triggered by misses and no-shoot hits a lot. Like they're like, fuck, that's bad. They get bothered by deltas a lot. I mean, out of proportion to the damage it actually does to your points. So like when you sit there and actually calculate out points, it's going to help straighten out your thinking. So for example, if you're in the asshole category where you shoot really aggressively and you start seeing like being the guy that shoots it a little bit, the numbers I gave are realistic. I mean, everybody can push it a little bit and shoot it a little bit faster and drop a lot of points.
Yeah.
Everybody can do that. Like people are very similar in that when they push it, they tend to only go a little bit faster, but it jacks up the average points dropped a lot. And people are also similar in that you can back off. Like if I'm shooting El Presidente, for example, like if you say, hey, just shoot it good, just shoot it. I can shoot a pretty fast time with a lot of points. I can't guarantee, you'd be like, then if you said, hey, guarantee me all A's, my time's going to be slow as shit, really slow. And I still probably won't get all A's because we're just not, I mean, it's very difficult to shoot all A's on something like that, you know, in any reasonable time. And maybe it'd be 8 seconds or something, and I still may not get all A's. All right. So when you start actually calculating out hit factors and seeing that play out, if you're in the, hey, why am I pushing so hard and I'm only gaining a little bit of time and I'm dropping a lot of points and I'm occasionally getting these penalties, that's not good. Or if you're like, hey, you know, when I push it, when I go a little bit faster, I'm not dropping a lot more points. My hit factors get way better, depending on where you are on the spectrum, whether you're a turtle or a hoser. Actually doing the math, it's like, for one, you're going to understand the scoring better, which is always a good thing. And even a high-level guy like Hopkins can't figure it out in his head. That should tell you something, by the way. You're going to understand the scoring better, and you're going to know what you have to do better. You're going to understand it at kind of like a really visceral level. You're going to understand what's going on, if that makes sense. What do you think about that, Kim?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, building more knowledge.
Yes, I mean, actually, like one group of guys I shot with, I don't know, 6-8 weeks ago, something like that. I shot with them a while ago, and one of the exercises we did is, hey, you're going to shoot these practice stages and actually write down your hit factors. You're going to calculate it and write it down. And it's a lot different than like, oh, well, that guy's only a second faster than me. That's not a big difference. When you actually start writing out the hit factors, it's like, oh, fuck, like I'm getting destroyed here, like destroyed. It's another reason why if you watch, like to your naked eye, if you're watching like an A-class dude or an M-class dude next to like a national level GM, they probably don't look a lot different in most circumstances. Like the national level guy, like, yeah, he's a little faster. It's not like a big deal. But then when you actually look at the hit factors, like, my God, that guy's getting hammered. He's getting dick hammered by like 25% on a stage, right? And understanding how that happens or how that works with the scoring system and understanding in a way where it's like you get it without having to think about it, that's a big deal, if that makes sense.
And people always ask, hey, how do I develop mental skills? And building knowledge is part of the mental skill development.
Yeah, I feel you. I like it. Okay, one more question. Should PCC have their own classifiers? Take out El Presidente. They start down range and everybody else starts up range, draws and shoots. Just one example. So what do you think, guys? PCC having their own classifiers?
I mean, that
Do I need to answer
doesn't-
this? No, it makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't.
You can't have different classifiers for different divisions, and you have to like set up 2 classifiers with the same match, or if a classifier doesn't work for all divisions, then guys would just stop using it. You know, no, that
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. For me, I mean, I don't care. Yeah, PCC guys start facing down range on Alprez, like whatever, that's fine. It defeats the purpose of adding PCC to your handgun match if you have to set up different stages for the PCC. But you guys pointing out that he's correctly observing that these classifiers don't make a lot of sense for PCC, which is true, but it really makes no sense to build them their own classifiers.
No, that would be horrible. As a match, like setup point, that'd
Yeah.
be horrendous.
Of course. Anything to add to that, Kimmy?
No,
No.
no comment.
No comment
No
on PCC?
comment.
Is that a touchy subject over there?
No, I got no PCC or any rifles, so I can't give any comments.
Oh, dude, don't let that stop you from giving comments. Don't let that stop you. I don't know.
No,
Ferrari,
just
but I've got a
somebody
lot of
has to
comments.
send me one. Somebody has to send me one.
I know
I'll
a
try
guy
them.
that works at a place that makes the things that you're talking about. Right?
PCC?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll get a free rifle.
Hey, Hopkins, what's the jam for PCC? Like, what's the right one to buy?
What's most popular, or what's
Well, clearly you're going to say the best is the CZ Scorpion because you've been bought off by the man. But
I don't even shoot it really. Like
Okay,
I have
so-
one, but
what's the best?
I think the most popular right now is an AR with that takes Glock style magazines
Okay, what's
because
the
they
best?
could. I don't know.
Is it the
I don't know
JP
either. I don't really care that much either.
Probably,
homemade?
yeah.
Whatever. Fascinating discussion on what the best PCC is. All of us, like clearly none of us care really.
Yeah.
Like whatever. All right, another bang up show, guys. Listeners, if you have a question you'd like the answer to, go to benstegger.com. Send me your questions. We'd be happy to answer them. You know, it'll be great. It'll be a lot of fun. All right. Yeah.